like, I'm crowding everyone.
Good afternoon. I will call to order the meeting of the Ulm Public Utilities Commission for the month of October. First, we have our consent agenda.
I'll offer the motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Maybe before we vote on the motion, we should ask Chris if you have any comments on the monthly report.
I do not
Okay.
today. Thank you.
Did anybody have any comments or questions on the motion before we vote?
I'm just curious how, and I don't know if it falls under here, but how is our natural gas price trending compared to last year?
It's been going down. I think the daily price right now is about $5.60, something like that. So it's pretty close to where it was last year.
Because they had talked about it possibly going up for this winter too.
Well,
More than normal, but
we're holding our breath.
Good.
Right now, the LNG plant is expected to open November 1st, which would mean there would be more exports going out. And so that could trigger a rise in gas prices again, so.
got it.
Okay. Any other thoughts or questions about the? All right, the motion was to approve the consent agenda. It's been seconded. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The motion carries. And then we have our reports, which would include recognizing Ross Grothwall.
Yes, President Heine, Commissioners. Ross Grothwall is our Employee of the Month. He is an accountant with the Ulm Public Utilities. He has been an employee since, I guess it doesn't say that anyway, but
June of 21.
June of 21. Okay, thank you. Ross is willing to put in the extra time to learn processes and identify issues and areas for improvement as he goes. During the implementation of ExecuTime, Ross worked extra hours to get the system set up and developed a good understanding of how things work and will need to be maintained in the future. During the implementation, he was able to keep up with his normal responsibilities and continued to learn more of the responsibilities of his position. He's always willing to help customers and coworkers and has built good relationships with both. So I offer congratulations to Ross Grothwall.
Okay, yes, and I offer my congratulations as well. Do we have a motion?
Yeah, I'll offer the motion to recognize Ross Grothwall, accountant, as Employee of the Month for September 2022.
I'll second.
Any discussion of the motion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next would be to receive a communication of gratitude, I guess, from Kissimmee Utilities in Florida.
Yes, Commissioners, I wanted to add this to the packet just to give recognition. The Ulm Public Utilities is part of Minnesota Municipal Utility Association, along with, there's about 124 other Minnesota utilities that are part of that organization. And within MMUA, there's a mutual aid network, which is set up. This network helps other municipal utilities in the times of disaster. So if there are floods, wind, ice, snow, that type of thing, they send out requests for help. Typically, expenses are reimbursed through the city that is calling for that help, and then ultimately reimbursed by FEMA, which is the federal emergency management agency. And so this was evident with the hurricane that was going to hit Florida. MMUA, which is also a part of a wider network, which is nationwide, was called to see if there was any municipal utilities in Minnesota that would be willing to come and help with disaster recovery. There were 14 municipal utilities that responded out of Minnesota, and of course, the Ulm Public Utilities was one of those 14. So we were called on September 26th, and by September 27th at 5 a.m., we had 3 linemen that were heading to Rochester to meet up with the other 13 cities that were going as well. Once they arrived in Florida, the crews were sent to Bartow, Florida, where they spent their time rebuilding line, replacing equipment, and basically restoring power to the to the community. And this is from Kissimmee, who was the one that originally asked for the help for the area cities. I'd like to commend James Henderson, Brandon Daverack, and Joe Weber for their willingness to respond to this emergency. Those were the 3 linemen that went. They worked 16-hour days in not favorable conditions, as you can imagine. And so I'm very proud of the fact that they were willing to put their lives on hold and go and do that. But I just want to mention also that while these 3 were sent, there were many others within the department that volunteered to go. We needed to keep linemen back here for our own systems, so we only left 3 of them go. But just to let you know, this is a spirit of a municipal utility worker. Whether it's electric, water, gas, or wastewater, they really stand to help their fellow employees and also the citizens of the community and others. And so I'm very proud of all the municipal employees of the New Ulm Public Utilities.
How long were they down there?
They were down there for 10 days.
Wow, that's huge.
Yep. And just, I mean, if you can just imagine the coordination that MMUA also went through to get 14 municipal utilities down there and get the equipment and everything that they needed. It was interesting. They said they were on the highway, they were driving down, and they met up with some utilities from other states as they were going as well. So some of those photos or video clips that you saw on the TV were real. It was our municipal workers going down to help other people in need, so. What will happen is we will pay our employees as if they normally were working here. And then what happens is we'll bill Bartow. Bartow will pay us for the wages and any, meals, things like that. And then that will be submitted to FEMA for reimbursement from them.
Thank you for bringing that to the agenda.
Well, it's cool when you see the trucks roll down on the news and TV, that
Yeah.
we're part of it.
And this is part of a mutual aid, like you said, so if we have a snowstorm, or, we could be in a position of,
Absolutely.
Same
They
kind of
would,
help,
yep,
right,
they
so-
would be here to help us
Yeah.
as well.
well, that's more fun than talking about gas prices.
I'll offer the motion to receive and order file the letter from Kissimmee Utility Authority in Florida regarding the mutual aid efforts for Hurricane Ian.
I'll second.
Any discussion on the motion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. On to new business, we need to receive our proposed budget and I guess we'll do that first and then schedule a meeting.
Yes, this is the presentation of the preliminary 2023 budget for the New Ulm Public Utilities. Just some, basic information. We have operating expenses of about $50,043,662, operating expenses of $47,928,920, with a net operating income of $2,114,742. We have non-operating income or expenses, in this case, income of $1,277,967, and income before non-operating transfers of $3,392,709. Net income will come out at $4,049,187. We have a change in unrestricted cash of $2,367,209 and a debt service coverage of 6.42 times. Also within the 2023 preliminary budget, we have color-coded it to highlight any variances that have been approved from the 2022 budget to help with the presentation.
Okay, so we're not agreeing with any of that so far, we're just receiving it? and
This
then
is
we'll
just the
discuss it
presentation. We will do a work session to go over the budget, and then the final budget will be approved in December.
Motion to receive and order file the preliminary 2023 budget for the New Ulm Public Utilities.
I'll second.
All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Same sign. Motion carries. And then we are suggesting a meeting date at the PUC building on Front Street on Tuesday, November 22nd at 1:30 PM. Is that for all the commissioners?
It does for me as of right now, yes.
Yeah, for me it does as well.
So do we need a motion to schedule that meeting?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
The motion to schedule a meeting to review the preliminary 2023 budget for New Ulm Public Utilities at 1:30 PM on Tuesday, November 22nd, 2022, in the Public Utilities Front Conference Room, 310 First North Street.
I'll second.
Any discussion of the motion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Is that a public meeting or a work session?
All work sessions are public.
Oh, right.
Yep,
Of course.
but
so it's
they'll-
not
yep,
more. Yeah.
Yep, but it will be located down at the PUC building rather than in council chambers.
Not in council chamber. And that is the same day as our next regular meeting.
Yep, it's right
so-
before the meeting, yep.
Yep. Okay. All right, bulk gasoline and diesel fuel bids.
Yes, this is just a normal, we're going out for bids for our gasoline and diesel fuel. We have a fuel station which is located on 3rd North and Spring, approximately Spring Street. And so we're going out for bids for a 3-year contract for that. There's some information here as to the amount of gallons. We use about 42,000 gallons of gasoline and about the same of diesel. The fuel is for both city and PUC vehicles, so it's a joint venture between the PUC and the city. The next contract, or our current contract, is going to end January 31st of 2023, so we're looking to go out another 3 years.
Okay, well, I'll offer the motion and authorize the city manager to prepare specifications and advertise for bids to supply bulk gasoline and diesel fuel for the fuel depot located at 3rd North Street and approximately Spring Street for a 3-year contract period for the City of New Ulm and Public Utilities Commission.
I'll second.
Any discussion of the motion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next, we need to discuss delinquent water and wastewater assessments. Nicole, are you presenting?
Commissioners, yeah, in the past, we have done liens on some of these past due water and sewer bills. That's not something it's not the way we should be doing it, so we're going to the assessment. So water and sewer past due amounts will be assessed to the properties annually. We are still compiling the list. We're trying to get a final list, and a public hearing will be held before the city council at their November 15th meeting, I believe, to approve those assessments that will go, and a list will be available then, and all the property owners will receive notice for that hearing and everything as well. And because this is new, we are only doing those that are past due in 2022. Anything prior to that a lien was never done for will just get sent to PCA for collections.
And why is it that we shouldn't be doing liens, we should be doing assessments?
It's something in the state statute that the attorneys found for us.
Okay,
So
that sounds good.
Show up on their property tax
on the property taxes for
statements.
that property.
Okay.
So we only do it for the water and sewer. We cannot send electric and gas usage with the property. It has to stay with the person who incurred the charges. So just the water and sewer charges will be assessed to the property.
Okay.
So they're no longer a customer at this point? These
Some of them
delinquent
may
ones?
not be. Some
Okay.
of them are. Some may not be, yeah.
So they're either, gone or current, or there's just some delinquent ones they haven't paid at that
Yeah.
point? Okay.
And usually the utilities, when a property is sold and an assessment search is done, we include any past due utilities that we are aware of at the time. But sometimes things are incurred in between that closing and when that assessment search is done, so there may be a few. But like I said, they'll all get their letters and have the opportunity to speak at the hearing as well.
So you're saying generally, we wouldn't expect there to be many properties where I'd find out that somebody who lived there before me owed money and
Right.
now I gotta pay it?
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't expect that to happen?
That
And,
makes sense.
and so will the interest rate so if someone doesn't pay their assessment, will it continue to accrue at this 4.25 or will it change?
With
That's the
bond
rate
sale
that
every
will
year?
stick with the 2022, and we used the interest rate that we used for the 2022 road assessments as well.
Okay.
So that rate will change each year, but for these assessments, it would be 4.25 all the way.
Okay. Okay. So essentially if a property got caught with two, then
They could have
you
two
literally
different
could have two
rates.
interest rates and two assessments. So it'd be the 2022
Yep.
delinquent assessment. Okay. Got it.
I'll offer the motion to review and recommend to City Council to establish a special assessment for 2022 delinquent water and wastewater charges.
I'll second.
Any discussion of the motion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Let's see, Highway 27 and 22nd Street North District Regulation Station Monitoring Proposal.
Yes.
That's enough, right?
We're looking at adding two pressure monitors in two different locations to our existing SCADA system. And these two stations didn't exist at the time of the original installation in 2019. So now that we have the SCADA all done, we would like to add these. In 2022, there was $10,000 budgeted to add the two monitors, but as with everything else, the cost has gone up. And so the reason it's being brought to you is that it is slightly over budget. So we're just asking for approval for that.
And there's no monitors right now on there, correct?
There's no monitors at these locations at this point. Yep. So we want to get them on our SCADA system so that we have a complete picture of what's going on out in the system.
For sure.
I'll make the motion to authorize the city manager to sign the proposal from In Control Incorporated in the amount of $17,955 for the addition of two direct regulating stations, DRS, pressure monitoring devices to the existing SCADA application at Highway 27 and 22nd Street North.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Server operating system licensing purchase.
Good evening, Commissioners. This was a routine purchase. We had licensing for Server 2019 prior to this, and as with all operating systems, we needed the new version to continue on. And so this was a budgeted for item. We budgeted $20,000 for this year's budget, and fortunately, we came in under budget for what we needed.
Thank you.
I'll offer the motion to receive and order filed the pricing proposal from SHI for updated Windows Server operating system licenses in the amount of $17,791.20.
Second.
Any discussion of the motion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Now we need to consider a bid award for the number 4 generator.
Afternoon, President Heine and Commissioners. So we are seeking to accept the bid from ST Cotters for the price of $201,708. There was a total of 8 companies interested, 4 responded. They were the lowest bid. They provided the best value, I believe, for what we need to have done. I did include an email. I had some clarifications on options 1A for $190,000. Most of them break out the line items for NDTing and blasting. They did not. So, but in that package, like say in that email, it does include that because that's a fairly expensive thing that you need to have done. It's roughly, on most of the other bids, it was like between $40,000 and $50,000, and I didn't see that line item, but they did include it in there, so that is included. And they, like I say, meet all the other qualifications, and I believe they should do a fine job. And some of the other line items on there, I picked out what we needed, and like I say, they had the full crew for 300, but we have our own guys that can do most of it, so we just need a technical director and 1 millwright. So that's why I explained some of those pricing that I picked there, so. Any questions?
And I think you mentioned this earlier, Glenn, but this is something that has to be done every 10 years.
Yes,
Right?
50,000 hours or 10 years. We do not meet the 50,000 hours because we don't run it that much every year, so. But yeah, it's insurance mandated.
I'll offer the motion, or I'll make the motion to authorize the city manager to accept the bid from ST Cotter Turbine Services, Inc. for the number 4 generator overhaul project with options 1A, 2, and 3A and B in the amount of $201,708.
I'll second.
Any discussion of the motion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Let's see. Cellular, am I jumping to cellular radio installation for wells and pressure reducing valves?
Yes, President Heine, Commissioners. This is an item that we're requesting to install cellular radios to our wells and our PRVs. This is not a budgeted item at this point, but it has been moved up in the process because we're getting multiple alarms, which is signaling failures in several of our wells. And the PRVs do not have any type of alarms on them at this point. And so what's happening is the wells are alarming several times a week, sometimes in the middle of the night, sometimes 2 or 3 times in the middle of the night. And every time they alarm, we need to go and check it, make sure. So it's causing some increased overtime as well as a disruption of life for our employees. They're getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning to go and check on these wells. And cellular radio is just a better option. Ultimately, we'd like to get fiber to the wells, but at this point, that's not in the plan, the 5-year plan right now. So we're looking at a cellular radio installation. This particular item is with automatic systems control, and this is for the installation, programming, and then the engineering services to install that. This price is for all of the, I think there's 10, let's see, there's 10 cellular radios going to the wells and then the 2 PRVs. This is just for the installation and program. The next item will actually be for the cellular radio.
So in the past, we didn't have any alarming on the pressure reducing valves? Is
We
that
have
correct?
not.
Okay. So what is the risk with the pressure reducing valve? What
Well,
could happen?
this attaches to our SCADA program, and so if there were any failures or anything like that, we would not know that immediately like we would if we had an alarm. So it's critical to have these on there, to have a good SCADA system that can tell us what's running, when it's running, and if it's running properly.
And so far, all the alarms have been false alarms that they've checked.
Yes. On the wells, yes. Mhm.
Do you get billed from the alarm company too then whenever that goes off?
No, we don't have an alarm company. It's all through our own SCADA, but it does cost us time and a half for our employees to go out and check it. Plus, it's a disruption from their sleep because it seems like it happens throughout the day, which is much easier to deal with, but when it's happening at night, they're having to get up and deal with it because we can't leave them not go just in case.
All right, well, I'll offer the motion to authorize the city manager to accept the proposal from Automatic Systems Co. for installation, programming, and engineering services to add cellular radios for operation of wells and pressure-reducing valves in the amount of $36,042.
I'll second.
Sec-
Any discussion of the motion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. And now cross your fingers, hopefully the next one.
Yeah, exactly.
So this is just to authorize the purchase of 10.
Yes, this is for the actual equipment that's needed. We're asking for 10 cellular radios and 10 antennas that will go on, We have 13 wells, but there's a couple wells that are in the same building, so we only need to do one for that building, so.
I'll make the motion to authorize the city manager to accept the purchase of 10 cellular radios and 10 antennas for wells and pressure-reducing valves from SHI International Corp. in the amount of $8,280 and CDW-G in the amount of $139.60 for a total purchase price of $8,419.60.
Second.
Any discussion of the motion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And now, more equipment for the wells.
Yeah, this is 2 variable frequency drives for the 2 wells we're intending to rebuild next year. And this would be in next year's budget, or the reason we are currently ordering them is when you dig through the quotes, one of them 6 months out, and the other option was a year out. We're taking the 6-month out option, even though it's slightly more expensive. Our goal is to get this project done in the 2023 calendar year, and we're trying to get
We
our.
want to buy them
lead times-
early. We want to buy them early so we have them when
So
we
that
need
we
them.
have
Actually get them
Yeah.
in time to do it. We're still waiting for the VFDs for number 23. And that was this year's project. They say it's going to show up in November, but I'm becoming a cynic.
Those were ordered last year, correct?
That
Or
those
at the
were
beginning of
ordered
the year?
in February, if I remember right.
Yeah. So,
And they don't actually give you a date, they just give you a month now, so it's kind of like
What was the lead time at that point?
12 weeks. And then that's come and gone a few times now.
Typo, 12 months.
I'll offer the motion to authorize the city manager to accept a quote from LNS Electric Inc. for 2 Yasakawa FP 605 AC variable frequency drives, VFDs, in the amount of $9,390.
I'll second.
Any discussion of the motion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. All right, and then we have a quote for the raw water main.
Yeah, this is the acceptance of the quotes for the project we've been talking about since middle of August, our emergency raw water main repair. You'll notice we are going with the PVC option, which is slightly more expensive, but that's readily available right now. The HTP option would cost us 8 to 10 weeks, and that would put construction out in the middle of January. We haven't got a schedule yet. As soon as contractors assign contract, they'll let us know what the schedule is, but we're hoping they can start by the middle of November. And hopefully by early December, we can have the pipe in service and working. As a side note, we are also taking the option of, I think it was $8,800 to put in the conduit for fiber for future use. As Chris alluded to, one of our goals is at some point to get fiber to all our wells.
When did you say it would be up and running again? Mid-December?
I'm hoping for mid-December. We want to get this as soon as possible and before really
frost
cold
hits in,
weather
yeah.
shows up. We're doing everything we can to expedite the project already. Our crews have done some site preparation work already. We've got all our permits and stuff, so we're ready to go.
I'll make the motion to authorize the city manager to accept the quote from Ellingson Drainage Incorporated for installation of raw water main under the Minnesota River in the amount of $368,560.
I'll second.
Geez, guys, we've had enough motions. Any discussion on the motion?
can I just make one comment, just to add to Dan's? We actually did get 3 quotes for this, so we didn't just pick one, but we actually did get 3 quotes, and this was the low bid, so.
Thank you. Any other discussion of the motion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Same sign. Motion carries. Then we have our claims and estimates for the month.
I'll offer the motion to accept the list of claims paid in the amount of $3,383,842.70.
Second.
Any discussion of that motion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. So we have any other comments or questions? We are adjourned.